Hello everyone and welcome to our Gatsby tutorial. We are Group Gatsby. Our team members are Tian, Dhwani, Harman, which is me, Japneet and Devanshi. So before we dive deep into coding, learning Gatsby or the stuff, let's just start with something simple. What is Gatsby? Gatsby is widely known as a static site generator which uses a combination of React and GraphQL. For people who don't know what a static site generator is, it is basically something that takes templates, components, data, all that stuff, and uses it to generate a static website HTML page. So just something that uses all of that and helps in generating it. GraphQL is built upon Node.js, so we do require Node.js to use Gatsby. Gatsby provides over 2,500 plugins to create static sites. The plugins can be sourced as Markdown documents, MDX, images, numerous content management systems like WordPress, Drupal. The list just goes on and on. Now, something to note is that since version 4, Gatsby also supports server-side rendering and deferred static generation for the dynamic websites. It was not something that was available before. It just started from version 4 and above. Gatsby was developed by a company called Gatsby Inc. in 2015. It also offered a cloud service called Gatsby Cloud. Gatsby Cloud is what was used to host these Gatsby websites. It became really popular around 2019-2020, but we all know web development is a really big field. Uh, there's always new stuff coming up every year. So it dialed down a bit. It was recently acquired by a company called Nutlify, and they just merged it in 2023, February of 2023, which is fairly recent, just 5-6 months ago. Now, why should we use Gatsby? Instead of instead of using database queries or server-side rendering, Gatsby creates static files that serve directly to the user. As a result of this, the loading time for your page is significantly reduced. It's really quick and it just provides a better user experience. Gatsby do also provide server-side rendering for pages, ensuring that search engines can crawl and index the content effectively. It does allow it, but you can do something else too. Gatsby JS has a vast plugin ecosystem. As I mentioned before, it has over 2,500 plugins, which are a lot. It offers a wide range of functionality, different types of plugins, integration, etc. Developers can leverage these plugins to do tasks like image optimization, content sourcing, etc., it just saves a lot of time if you're working on a big project. Using plugins reduces the time a lot. It also saves a lot of memory as you don't have to do big codes. Everything is pre-made unless you are obviously doing something else. Everything should work if you just implement plugins. Gatsby is designed to scale efficiently, even for large websites with vast amount of content, especially websites which are just a lot of media, a lot of videos, images, a lot of scrolling for those websites. Gatsby also allows developers to build progressive web apps which offer a web app-like experience to users, even when they are offline or in a low quality network. Now, a few features to note for Gatsby which I found interesting are first being lazy loading. Lazy loading is a technique that defers the loading of non critical resources like images and videos, as I just mentioned, until they are truly needed. Lazy loading significantly reduces the load time of the web pages, especially for, as I said, websites which has the large scroll pages, a lot of media, images, media videos. It just helps save memory. So, an example of a plugin which we can use for lazy loading is a Gatsby image component. It allows to implement lazy loading for images as it's in the name. We'll also be using a plugin for images in our sample exercise, but it will be a bit in a bit. You can wait for it. Let's just get this done first. Next feature is prefetching and preloading. Gatsby allows you to take advantage of prefetching and preloading to proactively load critical resources in the background. This helps speeding up navigation and improve the overall user experience. An example of a plugin that you can use for this is like link component. It is in Gatsby to prefetch linked pages whenever someone like hovers over a link or just leaves a cursor on it. That's when this is used. It is really helpful. Next is minification and compression. Enabling minification and compression for your HTML, CSS, JS files can further reduce the overall file size of your website. Minification removes unnecessary white spaces and unnecessary comments from your code. In Gatsby, it is something that is enabled by default, but if you don't want it, you can just disable it. It's on you. Right. So now that we have a basic idea of what Gatsby is, let's install it. Before installation of Gatsby, I just want to make sure you guys have two things installed in your PC. First being VS Code because we'll be using VS Code for Gatsby, and second is Node.js. Node.js is required to do it as Gatsby runs on Node.js. So for VS Code, you can just go to the website which I'm showing here. It is the official VS Code website. And for Node.js, again, they also have the Node.js website. Just go here, download, and click it. Just download both of these stuff for your preferred operating system. We use Windows, so it would just be easier to follow with that. And just go through the procedure and install it. You can pause the video now if you don't have it installed and just install it and then come back to it. So just do that. Okay. Now that everyone have it installed, let's run this command in terminal to install Gatsby. Now for doing this, you can just either run it in Git, or the way I'm doing it is I'm running it in the VS Code terminal, which I prefer as it is a bit easier because in Git I will just make the whole thing in Git, get everything done, and then open VS Code and open it. It's just extra process. You can just do the same thing in the terminal as well. So let's open VS Code. There's three lines. Just click on this. Go to terminal, new terminal. Okay, and this you'll add npm install -g. -g is short for global. You can either write -global or -g, anything should work. Okay, let's just do G Gatsby-CLI. Now I already have it installed on my PC, so I'm not gonna do this for especially for the reason that it's gonna take 5-10 minutes to install in your PC. It's just a lot of time and yeah, it's just not the best idea to cover that in a presentation. So once you can just pause it, install, and come back. So now that here, I'm guessing you have it. Let's just check if we have it in our system. Just do Gatsby dash version. It should show up here. What version you have? I have 5.11.0. Any version should be fine. Just don't worry about it if you have different version. Doesn't change much. Okay, now that we have Gatsby installed in our PC, we can finally move on to creating a Gatsby project. To do that, again, you can use Git or just follow along with what I'm doing in the VS Code, whichever one you prefer. So in that, we use the command Gatsby new. So Gatsby new. This is something you write to create a new project. After this, you can write the project name. I'm gonna name my project, let's say a dash Gatsby dash dem. You can name it anything you want. It doesn't matter. It will just take a bit to run. It will add the folder. It will add all the files in the folder. Just make it so that when you develop this Gatsby, it will take you to a preloaded web page. I will also show you how to create a page in the using Gatsby. But first, let's just get this done. It's gonna take a bit. I'll also show you how it should look after it's done. After the Gatsby is done, we'll open the folder and it should look similar to this. I'll also tell you what all those folders actually mean. So let's just wait for a bit. Okay, it is done. Now you can either cd to Gatsby right now or just later. It doesn't change anything, it's just terminal, but you do need it. So let's go cd to the project I created. Here just write the project you created. The project name should be different. Okay, so now just again go to the three lines. Okay, click on it, file, open folder. Here you can search for the folder you created. Mine was a dash Gatsby dash demo. There you go, and click on select folder. So here you can see it's similar to this thing that we see right here. Now let's just get familiar with all of this. The node modules, it is something that you should not worry about. It's just needed for it to run. Gatsby would create it every time. Even when you download it from Git, initially it won't have node modules and stuff. But when you do Gatsby develop in your terminal, it will just do it in your computer. It will just add everything. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about the get ignore and stuff. It's just pre-made. The Gatsby configure is where dependencies are. It would, whenever you add a plugin dependencies would also be added here. Again, this is something that Gatsby would do. Don't worry about that. What we'll be focusing on is the source folder. This is everything that we are doing everything inside. And this the components is just don't worry about that. What we would be focusing on right now is the pages section. So in the pages, as you can see, we already have the index. This was pre-made. We also have page 2. This is also pre-made. So let's just see what Gatsby made for us. Let's open the terminal, new terminal, and let's say Gatsby space develop. You'll have to do Gatsby develop once, and that should be it. You don't have to do it multiple times. Every time you do it, it just updates live. So once it's done, you can just refresh your page every time you do new code. But let's say someone messed up and clicked Control C. You're out of the terminal now, so you can just run Gatsby develop again, and it won't cause you any errors. Nothing. Everything should be fine. So don't hesitate to do that. So let's go to the local host. This is what Gatsby created for us. It's just a basic page. It has links, all of that stuff, and it's just a simple page. What I will be doing is showing you how to create a new page. So a page in this. So for this, you will have to do to source pages, right click on pages, new file. Here, let's just say hello.js. Let's do that. Right? For file is created and this. So I have a clear React code for you right here. You can just copy this and use this, or just type it manually. I already have it copied, so I'll just paste it here. You can take your time to copy it, to manually write it. Just pause the video, do it, and just get back to the video. Take your time. Okay, so now that we have this done, do Control S to save it or just manual save it. Remember to always save it after you've done any changes, otherwise it would not be updated. Okay, so every time you do something, just do Control S. Now that this is done, let's go to the website. Let's refresh. Okay, so now we'll be going here, localhost 800 slash hello to the page that we create. There you go. This is the page we created. Hello, this is about us. Welcome. This is some information about our company. It's the same as this. So this is how you created your first Gatsby page and your Gatsby website. Now the reason I went dash hello was because, well, I have not set it up in the home page yet. It will take a lot of time to do that, so we'll just do it later. So now that we're done with this, you know how to do this. Let's do a sample exercise. So to do that, my teammate Tian would take care of it. He will explain you how to do the website, how to fork his GitHub repository and just use that, and you will do the sample exercise with him. So Tian, take it away.
For the sample exercise, we are going to add a plugin to a Gatsby project. First, we need to clone the sample code from GitHub, copy the link, open terminal, and use git clone to clone the project to our computer. Open VS Code and open the Gatsby sample folder. Open terminal and use the npm install command. This will install any packages that the project needs. Plugins are separate npm packages that add extra features to a Gatsby site. It is faster than building functionality from scratch. So to use plugin on our site, we need to first install it with npm and then configure the plugin in Gatsby config.js. That's this file over here. So to install the plugin, copy this line of code and type it into our terminal. Hit enter. And the plugin will be installed into our project. And the plugin that we'll be using is Gatsby plugin image. It is useful for adding responsive images to a site. Next, we'll be adding the plugin to Gatsby config.js file. It's right here. And type the names of the plugins that we'll be using. So it's a Gatsby plugin image and Gatsby plugin sharp. Save the changes. Next, we're going to go to source, pages, and index.js. And here we'll be using the plugin that we just installed. We're going to import static image from Gatsby plugin image. And here we're going to use static image. Give it the image's location, which is in source images. And this is the image that we're going to use, card.jpg. Save the file and run the project locally with Gatsby develop. When it's done building, we can open localhost 8000 in our browser. And here we'll see that the image is being displayed using the plugin that we just installed. Next, Japneet will go over our demo application.
Hello everyone, I'm Japneet Singh, and today I'm going to give a demo and explanation on our group's Gatsby demo website, and the topic is portfolio. Now, you guys might ask what portfolio actually is. So, portfolio is basically just a resume, but as web developers, we don't send resumes to our employers no more. We actually send websites. It shows the employers what we can actually do. This directly translates to the technical skills needed for the job. And portfolio also gives a very good first impression to whoever sees it. Now, This is the GitHub link on your screen. You can just go on the link and download the Gatsby demo website file and open it on VS Code, and let's get started. So first of all, let's just download the dependencies needed. Let's just open the terminal and enter this npm install and run it to download those dependencies needed. Now, after dependency downloaded, now we're going to use Gatsby develop. So Gatsby develop will run these plugins, which will pull in the projects from the JSON file, this projects.json file, and make them available for us. Let me show you. So let it just run. Okay. Now if we click here, so this is the website that's created. So let me just give a quick review. So if you click here, the page opens. So this page is created by Gatsby using the projects.json file. We'll go over it later. And here's a example website for that. And you can just go back to all projects or this project too, and you can go back. So this is quick review. Now let's see how the code translates to the website that I've created, that our group has created. Now, let's first look at projects.json file. So projects.json file. Here we have two JSON objects. We have two projects. Here we have a title, slug, URL, image, description, and tags each. And what is slug? So slug is a portion of a URL typically used to identify a specific resource or page with the website. This is important for user experience and search engine optimization. So a good example will be, like you can see, project -1. So if you go here, you can see this project 1 here. This is the slug. Okay, now let's go back. Let me tell you what we are actually working with. So these node modules, public and cache, we don't need it. This is just the system folders, so we don't need it. What we're actually going to work with is source files and Gatsby config.js, which you use to get data from the project JSON file into our Gatsby app, and Gatsby node.js, which you use to create those dynamic websites like you have seen when I click the project 1 or project 2, the page opens. Okay. Now that we have got our data from the projects.json file, let's display it. And for that, we have to go to Gatsby config.js. Here, there is module.exports, and here's the object. So there's site metadata. Let's just ignore that for now. Now there's plugins. So we have Gatsby plugin Sharp. This is used for image optimization. We also have Transformer for this Sharp. We also have the source gets. We're also gonna use source Gatsby source file system. Here we are gonna give it options. It's not just direct. We're gonna give it options. And the name that we have given is this project, and the path is dot data. And as you can see, here data is, and here's our project.json file. And lastly, we have the transformer for the JSON. Okay, now that you know this, just see those title slugs. Now let's go to GraphQL for better understanding. So this is the GraphQL. Um, Let me show you. So this is all project JSON. Then we used edges. So for edges and nodes, you don't have to really focus too much. Like node is just the data itself. So here, if we go to title, like you can see the title from the JSON file. So if we use URL, or if we go for slug, you can see that. Just a little differences for image, because if we just go for image, it shows the ID. It isn't showing the actual images. So for that, what we're gonna do is, so here too, I can show you project JSON node. The image. Here we're gonna use child image sharp. So here we're gonna use child image sharp. And inside of that, we're gonna use image sharp. And here we have different formats like original, resize, Gatsby image data, fluid. We need fluid here. So we're just gonna write fluid, and it gives us different types of things. So like basic core, we have different types. So like also we can just use source set here. Like it gives more clearer, I guess. So if we run that, so this is different size of the images. So here's our GraphQL. Now let's go back. Now, now let's go to the layout.js file to give a layout to our entire website. Okay. So here we are first importing the layout.css file. We're also importing the necessary module from React and Gatsby. Now, here we are having a logout component which is going to receive children. We're using React fragment because we do not want to put chunk into DOM. And we're gonna return a header. Inside of it is a link to our home page. We have just written Team Gatsby Portfolio. And we also have a main, which class name is content. And we are using, as you can see, we are using semantic elements instead of a div, so our markup has meaning. So here we are having the children returning and it's closing, and then we're just going to export the layout component as the default export for this file. Now let me show you how this layout.js code translated to our website. So if we go to our website, so this header did see this this was responsible due to our layout.js file. So if we go anywhere, we can just go back to home page doing this. Okay. Now we can go to our project preview.js file. This is how we actually going to show our project content. Here we have set a project preview. We have 4 props here: title, description, slugs, and image data. We have a div, which class name is project preview. We're going to add a link to the slug. Here, slug is the address of the page as prop. Now, here we have a link to the image which matches with the query that we have. And it's always best to have an alt title, so we have accessibility. And we also have other header. Here we're giving a title. Next is a paragraph here showing the description, and there's another link for view this project. Now, let me show you, then we're just exporting the project preview component as the default export for this file. Now, okay. Now let me show you what's in the index page. So in the index page, so they're just my team members. Now these are the necessary modules that we have to import. Now we have export default, and we have extract the project's data from the query data. So constant data, use static query that we have imported, and we're using GraphQL. As you can see, it's the same that I have shown you in the GraphQL before, but the thing is that instead of source set, we're using Gatsby image chart fluid. What it does is we have now it is going to automatically display whatever size images is best suited, and we don't have to go manually and select which size of image we want. Now, here we're going to extract the project data from the query data. So constant projects is equal to data dot all projects. So we have data dot all projects JSON dot edges. So now we are in the node. So what we are returning is we're wrapping the content with the layout component to maintain consistent layout across pages. So here we have our projects.map. Here we are aliasing node as project and constant title project or title, description project or description, slug project or slug. Just for image data, we're going project.image dot child image sharp dot fluid, and we're returning the project preview, title as title, description as description, image data as image data, and slug as slug. And we're just closing it. Now let me show you how it translated to our website. So as you can see here, this is the link. This project one is the link. This is not a link. Remember the paragraph? And this is the link. So if you click anywhere, you can go to the next page. So based on the code that I've showed you, we haven't created pages yet. Now let me show you how we created those Gatsby created those pages for us. Now we go to Gatsby node.js. So here, so in Gatsby, we can export a function which Gatsby can look for, and it will do that in build time and allow us to customize the output. Here, we're using export.create pages. We're using asynchronously. We have actions, GraphQL, and reporter. Actions, an object with various methods for creating pages. GraphQL, the GraphQL function to create data. Reporter, a reporter object for logging and error reporting. Here, we are using a GraphQL query, storing it in a result, and we are awaiting for it. And if it runs, for slug, it's good. If any errors, we have if results.error, and we have panic button. Also, we are exporting projects from the GraphQL query response. And we are also looping here, projects.for each. We are not using map here because map returns value, and we are not returning value here. We are just want to get into those values to do stuff with them. Okay, so we go looping here, and we use action.create page. We are using the path, and the path is whatever the slug is. We have component here, and this is for project.js template, which I'm going to go next. And we have context here if we want to add any additional data. Now, if we go to our templates projects.js, it's quite similar to the projects.js component we have created. So we're just importing values, and here we're using GraphQL query to fetch data for specific project. So here, the powerful thing here is we can use the slug in the project.js. One sec. Now we go to our template project.js. Now we go to our template project.js. It's quite similar to the project.js component that I've shown you before. And here we have those import queries, and then we are using GraphQL to fetch data for a specific project based on its slug. Here we are using this slug here as a variable. And you can see the slug here we're using as a variable. It's quite a powerful tool because we can query for a single project. So this is the GraphQL for that. And it's the same thing. We are using component display detailed information about specific project, and then we are retaining the main content to the project page, and we're just exporting it. Now let me just show you what our website looks like now. Here we have our team Gatsby. We are project one. This is the page that we are created using node Gatsby node.js. And we have back to all projects, and we have view this project online. So this is that. We go back, project two is also an example domain, and we can go back to our all projects. So this is a demo website, and I hope you learned how to use Gatsby through it. Now my partner Devanshi is going to conclude.
So by acquiring all the basic knowledge of the installation process of Gatsby and walking through our demo website and sample exercises, we will now talk about the companies which actually use Gatsby. So by the year 2021, Gatsby.js, it has gained immense popularity and was tremendously being used by many companies and websites. The first one we are going to talk about is DigitalOcean. DigitalOcean offers a bunch of tools and solutions which are basically for cloud computing and dedicated to developers and businesses. The second one we are going to talk about is Autoload IT. It is basically an enterprise automotive imaging solution, and it provides and supports using high resolution images just to grow car sales. The third one we are going to talk about is the Roboto Studio. It is a digital agency which specializes in building blazingly fast websites using Gatsby and other two, which are Prismic and Netlify as well, which we are not going to talk about right now. The last two I'm going to bring into your consideration are the Car Loans Canada and the Fabric. So they offer a free service to help people buy a car with a loan, and they lately help families organizing their finances, and thanks to just wills, insurance, and other tools. So that was it about giving you the brief knowledge about the companies using Gatsby. Now we'll move forward to our conclusion part. So in this presentation, we covered the fundamentals of Gatsby. We discussed its significant advantages and enhanced search engine optimization capabilities. So we discovered that Gatsby offers a pleasant development experience and is easily scalable, making it the most preferred choice among the website developers. Also, we learned about the key concepts such as creating pages using React components, which are demonstrated by my fellow group members, and also using plugins and themes to augment functionality and design. So by implementing these strategies, Gatsby can deliver exceptionally fast and optimized websites. So, coming to the point that whether you are a newcomer in the industry or you are a seasoned developer or you are a really experienced one, Gatsby is a versatile platform and it offers a wide range of web projects. Personally, encourage you to further explore the vast possibilities of Gatsby and dive deeper into its rich collection of plugins, themes, and the starter templates. Embrace the power of Gatsby, and I would conclude this by saying that let your creativity flourish in the world of web development. I thank you all for participating and listening to our presentation really attentively. And if you have made up your mind or you're getting interested into Gatsby.js, so these are the three references I would like to suggest you. These are what we used while this project, and these are the really easier ones and easy to grasp for our levels. And that would conclude our presentation. Thank you, and you all have a really, really great day. So, while walking through the presentation or even during the conclusion part, there might be several questions which you people might have in your mind. So, since it's the online pre recorded presentation, so I just summed up top three questions which I believe that would be in majority of students' mind. So, we'll just walk through those. And let me share it. Yeah. So the first one you could have thought is, why did companies choose Gatsby over other website building tools only? So the answer to this is really simple. So companies chose Gatsby for its exceptional website speed, optimization, and performance due to the pre-rendering and modern build processes. And this and enhances user experience and engagement. The second one could be that we discussed all about the advantages, benefits, and how seamless and exceptional Gatsby is. So, are there any limitations to this as well, or any challenges associated? So, everything has its own benefits and drawbacks, and same works for Gatsby as well. So Gatsby may have a learning curve for newcomers. So it can be a bit challenging and complex for newcomers in terms of React and GraphQL, as they might face some integration complexities with the complex backend. But once you get used to it, so that limitation also decreases. Finally, which came into my mind as well, was, is Gatsby suitable for smaller projects, or it's just only made for the larger enterprises? So, to my surprise, Gatsby works really well and in a similar way for the smaller as well as the larger enterprises projects. Being versatile in nature, it serves its performance and benefits and modular architecture in the same way as it does to the smaller and the larger one. This makes it adaptable to various scales and types of websites. So these were the questions which I thought that would have been asked by multiple students if we could have gone to the in-person presentation mode. So this concludes our presentation in overall, and may you all have a really good day. Thank you.